Chapter 11, 97, Sword Dragon Transformation. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. Chu Du smiled. Deep down, Shui Wuhen was someone he wanted to recruit to his Chu sect, so he had been giving him a lot of consideration. However, Fang Yuan was his collaboration partner. Later on, he would have to get Reckless Savage's true meaning from Fang Yuan to raise his strength path attainment. Chu Du was well aware of which was more important. In his letter, Liu Guanyi entrusted me to accomplish this matter, Chu Du thought to himself, while transmitting his voice to Shui Wuhen. Brother Shui, collaborating with Elder Liu Guanyi, is probably your best choice to get the resources in Liu Hui's aperture. How so? Shui Wuhen asked doubtfully. Because Elder Liu has an upper extreme heavenly eagle. This eagle can go into blessed lands. It is better for you take away the resources in the immortal aperture and give the immortal aperture to Elder Liu, making him add on some resources as the price. Isn't this a win-win situation? Chu Du replied. Shui Wuhen's eyes brightened. Upper extreme heavenly eagle? I have also heard of this immemorial beast. I did not expect Elder Liu Guanyi to have such a rare bird. Pausing for a while, Shui Wuhen continued his voice transmission. I am willing to transact with Elder Liu. Right as Fang Yuan's plan was about to succeed, a change happened. A Gu Immortal walked out of Golden Dawn Hall. It is a Liu tribe Gu Immortal, Liu Juanshen. Immortal Wang immediately recognized this person. He is coming down to fight? Chu Du's side cast their gazes. However, Liu Juanshen did not go to the stage, instead stopped at the entrance of Golden Dawn Hall. Lord Domination Immortal, my side is willing to use Granny Yin's corpse to exchange for Elder Liu Hui's corpse and soul. Liu Hui's corpse had ended up in enemy hands. Liu tribe's Gu Immortals naturally were not willing to see such a scene. The corpse was still all right. The main thing was the soul. Liu Hui's soul had not been destroyed. Therefore, Liu tribe's Gu Immortals wanted to get back Liu Hui's corpse and soul no matter what. However, Liu Juanshen did not have enough bargaining chips on him, and was also afraid that the other side would be very greedy and recklessly extort them. If so, then the situation would be quite awkward and they would be put on the spot. So, Liu Juanshen and the other Liu tribe Gu Immortals felt anxious, but did not make a rash move. After Nian Erpingzi killed Granny Yin, Liu tribe's Gu Immortals saw hope in this matter. Liu Juanshen had thus communicated with Nian Er tribe, and after giving up many benefits, had exchanged for Granny Yin's corpse. An immortal aperture was inside Granny Yin's corpse, and for the moment was unharmed. It was only that Granny Yin's soul was already destroyed by Nian Erpingzi. Nian Erpingzi had a tough victory and simply was unable to hold back. Granny Yin's soul was completely destroyed by the immortal killer Move One Sword Life. However, as far as Liu tribe's Gu Immortals were concerned, Granny Yin was ranked 7 while Liu Hui was only ranked 6. This transaction was very likely to be accomplished. Chu Du's side heard these words, and there was immediately a stir among them as they began to whisper to each other. Chu Du inwardly exclaimed, Amazing! This Liu Juanshen has quite the ability, putting me in such a spot. Chu Du did not have to turn around to sense the disturbance among the Gu Immortals behind him. Granny Yin moved alone and had few relations with other Gu Immortals. Most of her relationships were even hostile. Granny Yin had come this time only because of Chu Du's prestige and the rewards. However, Chu Du knew these Gu Immortals behind him hoped that two sides could exchange the corpses. The reason was that this blood battle martial competition had just begun. In the following battles, there might be Gu Immortals whose bodies and souls would perish in battle. If that was the case, so be it, since there was no body nor soul. But if they lost their life and their soul was left behind in the enemy's hands, what could they do? Under such a situation, they could only rely on their side's Gu Immortals to help retrieve their soul. If I agree to Liu Juanshen's request, I can stabilize these Gu Immortals' mindsets and lessen their worries. Otherwise, the morale will probably lower, which can seriously impact the following battles. Chu Du understood the importance of this matter. Most of the members of Chu sect and Baizu tribe were lone immortals or demonic cultivators. They were not well united to begin with. They only took this risk because of the reputations of domination, immortal, and heavenly lord, Baizu, as well as the rewards. If Chudu were to refuse now, these Gu immortals would probably be self-conscious and be on guard against each other. Chudu hesitated for a while, apologizing to Liu Guanyi inwardly before he spoke, agreeing to this transaction. Liu Juanxin was joyous. Both sides exchanged the corpses. Shua Wuhen had lost a rank 6 Earth Path Immortal Aperture and Gu Immortal Soul, but obtained a rank 7 Soul Path Immortal Aperture, while Chudu had also secretly made it up to him with some Snow Path killer moves. So he was quite happy with this result. Anyway, even if he interrogated Lu Hui's soul and obtained Earth Path killer moves, they would be useless to him. After both sides exchanged the corpses, Gong Wanting also saw the importance of this matter and took the initiative to negotiate with Chudu. Because of this event, both sides had thus conveniently added a rule in the blood battle martial competition regarding the exchange of corpses and soul captives. After a delay of half a day, both sides engaged in another battle. Chudu's side sent a Baizu tribe Gu Immortal. It was the previous He tribe Supreme Elder. The actual Baizu bloodline members were still being taken care of. Before this trip, Chudu had received Heavenly Lord Baizu's instructions to protect as many Baizu tribe descendants as possible. Because of this setback, Fang Yuan's plan went down the drain. Not long later, he received Chudu's letter. The letter explained the reason in detail. Chudu's tone was polite and even apologized to Fang Yuan for not fulfilling what he was entrusted with. Fang Yuan understood Chudu's difficulty. He was standing in a Gu refinement secret room, mumbling to himself, "I don't have a use for a soul path immortal aperture. It seems I still have to make a move personally and seize the immortal aperture that I want and advance to rank 7. However, there were many forces in the blood battle martial competition. Although Fang Yuan had familiar face, he still needed some new offensive methods. After all, he had proclaimed to the outside world that he was a transformation path Gu immortal. I have Flying Bear Strength Immortal Gu, but the power of the Flying Bear transformation is quite poor. Fortunately, I have been considering this beforehand and have many possible solutions now." Fang Yuan's gaze landed on the dragon corpse in front of him. This was a desolate beast. Its whole body was shining with silvery light. Its horn was sharp as a spear. Its eyes were pure white. Its fangs and claws looked fearsome. Many layers of scales covered its body, emitting metallic luster. This was a silver-colored dragon. The whole body was 20 feet long. Its body was slender, and its shape was fluid and graceful. It was like a piece of art, but it emitted a dense, cold feeling of sharpness, as if anyone who got close to it would be pierced through by the surrounding air. This was not a false feeling, but it was because this silver dragon with 2 claws was originally a sword path Acylate beast. Sword dragon. Now it was already dead. Its sword path Dao marks were gradually dissipating, merging into the surrounding environment. This was the transformation Fang Yuan had prepared to cultivate. Sword dragon transformation. The killer move Sword dragon transformation needs Dragon Scale Gu, Dragon Horn Gu, Dragon Claw Gu, Dragon Eyes Gu, and so on. If any one of the Gu worms is an immortal Gu, then it becomes an immortal killer move. But I have change form Immortal Gu. This Gu is one of the core essences of transformation path. Thus I don't need to refine immortal level Dragon Scale Gu, Dragon Horn Gu, Dragon Claw Gu, or Dragon Eyes Gu, and only need to refine the Mortal Gu versions and use change form Immortal Gu as the core to form Immortal Killer Move Sword Dragon Transformation. Transformation path killer moves were extremely simple. It could even be said to be rudimentary. This was one of the advantages of cultivating transformation path. Immortal killer moves of other paths were not easy to deduce, but transformation path was completely different in this aspect. Adding on that Fang Yuan himself was a wisdom path grandmaster, not only did he successfully deduce the contents of Sword Dragon transformation, but also improved on many aspects, making the transformation faster and nimbler. Naturally, Gu Immortal Han Dong had a contribution in this. He was a transformation path Gu immortal who specialized in cultivating spirit snake transformation. A dragon had a similar body shape and battle style. Although Han Dong died and his soul had dissipated, he had left behind a land spirit which retained some of Han Dong's cultivation insights. It was enough for Fang Yuan to take as a reference. He started activating the Gu refinement formation and began to refine this desolate beast sword dragon. The desolate beast sword dragon was full of sword path Dao marks, and in itself was an immortal material which could be refined into immortal Go. However, Fang Yuan's refinement path attainment was not particularly high, and with just this sword dragon, the immortal materials to refine the relevant immortal Gu were also not sufficient. So Fang Yuan was refining only mortal Gu to support change form immortal Gu. The refinement process went rather smoothly. Fang Yuan himself was a Gu immortal and was using precious immortal materials to refine some rank 5 mortal Gu. The success rate was naturally extremely high and could even be said to be quite easy. Some days later, Fang Yuan stood still and took in a deep breath. His mind was still. Suddenly, thoughts surged up like a storm as Gu worms started activating one after the other. In just a breath of time, Fang Yuan's whole body emitted piercing, silvery radiance. After the silver light dissipated, an elegant and exquisite silver sword dragon that was emitting a feeling of sharpness appeared. The sword dragon's eyes were white, but they flashed with intelligence. It was Fang Yuan. Immortal Killer Move Sword Dragon transformation has already been refined. Next, Fang Yuan began to get familiar with his body, brandishing his claws and fangs or flying in the sky. His practice drills went quite decently. It was because he had already begun cultivating transformation path. Not only the flying bear transformation many times, he had used change form immortal Gu to transform into all kinds of appearances. Although they had not reached mastery, he could be said to be familiar with them. After thoroughly getting familiar with this form, Fang Yuan began to test the might of this immortal killer move. First was the expenditure of immortal essence. Very little. The expenditure of green grape immortal essence to maintain the sword dragon transformation was not high. After all, it only involved rank 6 change form immortal Gu. Next was his battle strength. Fang Yuan had already arranged immortal materials in front of him. First was a piece of 100 years profound ice. He swept at it with his claws. Fang Yuan felt like he had sliced into tofu. He easily smashed this profound ice into pieces. Next, Fang Yuan moved to the subterranean adamantite and clawed at it. Subterranean adamantite was among the hardest rank 6 immortal materials. It immediately showed a clear claw marking that reached a few inches deep. Fang Yuan was immediately aware of the limit of the power of his dragon claws. He did not need to test it on the rank 7 immortal material at the side.